Quarter 1. I began the first year of high school full of confidence, sure that nothing could oppose me.
I am the master of all I see.
From the rumors I had heard, only one class would provide a serious challenge, the dreaded honors English. It was only a short while before I felt as if the walls were closing in on me. I was tightly bound with chains, and escape was utterly impossible.
Do fun things at once, but which? Oh, can't decide. Trouble breathing. Walls closing in! Walls? But we're outside. Goodness, was it something I said?
My essays were categorized by having little emotion. They were cold, heartless, and so incredibly boring. In one of my essays, for instance, I discussed the many fascinating wonders of chess. It explained that instruction in chess causes increased comprehension of preparation and thinking ahead. From studies done in various countries around the world, it is apparent that the ability to focus is greatly intensified by chess, as not shown here. Even more impressively, I managed to turn an exciting soccer game into a string of choppy sentences that no one could particularly care about. The game began rather well, all things considered. For the longest time, neither side could score, causing very dreary match. Given that I was playing defense, this was phenomenal news. Subsequently, my team started to score. There were some good lines in a few of my essays, though, like in the paper discussing my arrival in East Greenwich. I recalled how a friend asked what my hearing aids were for, and I had to respond to that with an immortal line. They help me see better! Another thing to be said for my writing during the first quarter of the school year, however, is that I always included thorough, meticulous, ample, exhaustive, and comprehensive detail, somewhat like this statement. Confidence in my writing, my perfect grammar, and unique imagination had once been absolute. But 2 weeks into Mr. Ricotta's class, I realized how much I needed to learn. Quarter 2. During Quarter 2, I struggled against the chains, taking risks and definitive stances on important issues.
Let me out. I shall wreak vengeance upon you.
Most of the time, the side chosen were the ones nobody agrees with. Many would believe, not without cause, that those essays were not merely coincidental. For instance, when the entire class argued about how Arnold, the protagonist of The Stone Boy, is mistreated by his relatives and neighbors, my contention that I debated passionately was that Arnold is just categorically insane. In the essay, I stated, Arnold shows little emotion or remorse over the death of the one for whom he is closest. Unsurprisingly, that was not my only use of extreme pessimism in the second quarter. I began an analysis of the movie Catching Fire by intoning, life has no joy, pleasure, or happiness, after all. Other examples of engaging hooks, which I developed extensively within the second quarter, were present in an essay in which I wrote about homework, saying, a fearsome beast waits in the shadows, and in a paper about assault weapons. Every year, billions of people face a terrible risk. While playing devil's advocate and using enough cliches to kill a small elephant was entertaining, see what I did there? My persuasive essays improved tremendously through my efforts. Quarter 3. In the third quarter of high school, I stopped resisting quite so strongly and resigned myself to my fate. Poetry was the primary focus during that time, and I rose to meet the challenge.
I left my poem
at home.
As that was my particular area of expertise, powerful lines and, for the first time, consistently satisfactory grades were given. Some lines in one of my poems applied extraordinarily well to my school year. With all our might, we strive to be free, to shatter the chains that bind us so tight. But to all those that truly can see, it is clear that we shall never take flight. On the other hand, I wrote an analysis of the Dead Poets Society and made use of highly effective language. The essay's most memorable line detailed how an important character's mentors have been dragging him down into the unyielding, perilous grasp of reality, from which he knows there is no escape. It concluded with lines that were just as powerful, even if a bit cliched. Nevertheless, if they do not hope, if they do not struggle, if they do not do all they can to seize the day, there will never be a chance for them to change the world. Undoubtedly, the success I achieved in the third quarter was largely a result of much less procrastination involved and a willingness to work hard that I am currently having difficulty recovering. Quarter 4. When the school year began winding down, I realized that in ending my resistance, the struggle against myself, I was already free. All that was left was to take advantage of life's possibilities. Although I wrote the following lines in the third quarter, I only really understood their meaning months later. As we cannot escape, we must persevere and seek that which most have never dreamed of. To be at one with the prison, at one with the chains, to be at peace with fate's hand and what it ordains. And to all those who suspect me of pessimism, by which I mean everyone in third period English, remember these lines from my regression speech. We can act out of fear and cease attempting to improve the world, or we can act out of hope and believe that humanity is benevolent at heart. The enormous quantity of hilarious cat videos is, at least to me, certain proof. I like to think that our true thoughts and emotions reside within the deepest forms of our art, and for me, that is poetry. In order to further quash those insidious rumors of cynicism, I give you one of the last poems I composed this year. I cannot despair unless the possibility of hope remains. I cannot feel pain without knowing the taste of joy. I cannot sorrow before love consumes my heart. This year in English has been extremely difficult, but I have really benefited from it. I'm almost sorry for the year to end and for us all to leave Mr. Bricato's class, but the key word there is almost. I'm writing this at 1:30 in the morning. So 3 cheers for a stress-free life.